Golden Boy Boxing on ESPN is presented by Tecate, the official beer of boxing. We're at Fantasy Springs Resort and Casino as Romero Duno makes his way into the ring to headline Golden Boy Boxing on ESPN. He said, "I never dreamed that I would be doing this, but here I am representing the Philippines." But so is Gilberto Gonzalez. They call him Flaco, the skinny guy. Yes, he's a veteran who's got no quit in him. All right, let's take a look at the Tecate tail of the tape between these two fighters. In terms of total rounds fought, that's important, twice as many for Gilberto Gonzalez. But look at the last fight. It's been the longest layoff for Gilberto Gonzalez, 411 days since he last fought due to a suspension by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. He'll be taking on Romero Duno, who will be a tough nut to crack. All right, Mark Prado's in the center of the ring with the official introduction.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, welcome to Fantasy Springs Resort Casino here in Indio, California. This is Golden Boy Boxing on ESPN. Our main event of the evening is scheduled for 10 rounds in the lightweight division. Brought to you by Oscar De La Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions and presented by Tecate, the official beer of boxing. Hennessy, Never Stop, Never Settle, and WAD Gear. The main event is sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission, the chairman, John Cavelli, the executive officer, Andy Foster. The judges here in our main event are Carla Caiz, Zachary Young, and Fernando Villarreal. And controlling the action at the sound of the bell, the referee in charge is Edward Hernandez Sr. And now, once again, live from Fantasy Springs in Indio, California, 10 rounds in your main event of the evening. Ladies and gentlemen, it's go time! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He weighed in at 134.8 pounds. He owns an impressive professional record, 27 victories against 4 defeats, 22 wins coming by way of knockout. Wearing black with silver this evening, a native of Uriangato, Guanajuato, Mexico. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Gilberto El Flaco Gonzalez. His opponent across the ring fights out of the red corner. He weighed in at 134.6 pounds. Also, the owner of an impressive professional record, 16 victories against only 1 defeat, 14 wins coming by way of knockout. Wearing gold with black and hailing from General Santos City in the Philippines, now living, training, and fighting out of Los Angeles. The former WBC Youth Intercontinental Lightweight Champion, please welcome Romero Ruthless Duno.
Mouthpiece. Clean his mouth. Mouthpiece. All right, gentlemen, I'm going to go the rules with you both. You're professionals. I expect you to conduct yourself as such. Touch gloves and good luck.
It's time for our main event of the evening. I'm Bernardo Osuna, and now I am joined ringside by Joel Diaz. Great job doing that double duty in the corner, and now you are fulfilling the second duty, which is as a color analyst. How did it feel?
It feels good. I really enjoyed it because I was in total control, talking to Oscar and, at the same time answering you guys' questions. It was great. Thank you.
All right, you see that brace on the left knee of Gilberto Flaco Gonzalez. That's where he had knee surgery after tearing his ACL in the ring. Then coming back to win that fight, as you saw earlier this evening. So, I mean, this guy is all heart. That happened in July 2015 against Hebenson Herrera at the Velasco Theater. He saw his heart, and they said, we want this guy to be a part of our stable, Joe.
And he said, that he's not bothering anymore after he had a surgery. He's running, he's sparring, and it's never bothered him. So hopefully, I think he's got something just to support it. Hopefully, it doesn't get any worse. But he's looking really good. He uses his distance really well. he switches lefty, he switches righty, and he throws some really nice straight shots. He uses his complete reach.
You know, Ernesto Salvador Garcia, also known as El Tío, the gym where Gilberto trains at in Mexico City, said, the problem I have is that he'll box for the first 3 rounds, and all of a sudden, he becomes a warrior, and he lets his advantages go in favor of his opponent.
Well, it's just in him. He's a fighter that he's here to fight. You can teach a fighter technique, but once things get heated in there, then they're gonna go on their own and they're gonna want to fight. It's all natural instinct. He's very dangerous because he hits really hard. I trained him for the Mercito Gestas fight.
Good exchange there between Romero Duno and Gilberto Gonzalez. Romero told us that he had 300 amateur fights, or that's what the research told us, and he says, yeah, I wouldn't exactly call them amateur fights. It's more like blood sport, where he would fight, do a weigh-in, and then 3 hours later he'd be in the ring. When he finished the 3-round fight, next challenger would step in. He said, sometimes I'd fight 3 times a night, twice on a weekend, Saturday and Sunday. One time I fought 5 guys back to back to back. I mean, that's where he comes from, and that's why his mom didn't want to be a boxer. But now, this is a more orthodox type of boxing, Joel, where there's rules and regulations and not the same.
I think a lot of fighters, they grew up in a different environment, and when they love the sport, they try different things, especially in their countries. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of fighters in Mexico, they start at a really young age, and they go through the same thing. Like Duno was saying, he said, I was 14 years old fighting men, 30-year-olds.
Yeah, and here he's fighting a man in Gilberto Gonzalez who is 30 years old as well. He's not 14 anymore, Romero Duno, but he's showing his power early on. When Gonzalez lunges, Duno makes him pay, but so far the chin and the knee of Gonzalez holding up against Romero Duno here in our main event at Fantasy Springs. And come back with some more against Gilberto Gonzalez.
The last one. Doon. Ayaw, ang imong jab set hunat ra kayo. Tak. Pero daday imong tail para di ka kapuyan, ha? Kaya ug mabilin imong tail, imo siyang habulon, ha? Magbantay sa iyang overhand, ha? So, jab straight lang ta, jab straight, jab tusok ang imong jab straight, hook straight. Ana lang ha? Jab straight, hook straight. Utaas gay ang depensa. Boom. Pero ayaw, kusog ano lang. Ha? Let's go. Jab straight, ha? Oh, shit.
Back up.
Towel.
There's been a water spill in the red corner that they're still cleaning up. And now Joel Diaz, who joins me ringside. I'm going to make your job a lot easier than I did in our first fight of the evening. What does Gonzalez need to do to keep Duno off of him?
He needs to catch him on the way in because Duno's lunging in. He needs to wait for him to lunge and throw those shots from bottom up because Duno's lunging in with his head down. Using that uppercut will be very, very effective. And then also, see, there's a straight left. Now when he switches southpaw, he lands that straight left. He's very accurate with it.
Romero Duno, he's shorter, no doubt, than Gilberto Gonzalez by about 3 inches, and there's a 2-inch reach advantage, but when he leans in like that, Gonzalez neutralizes his own advantages, and that's where Duno can come in and do his work.
Yes. And Gonzalez's reach is very dangerous because if he lands that left, when he's southpaw, he lands that left to the body, he can do some serious damage because he has power in his punches.
Oh, big right hand there from Romero Duno, and Gilberto Gonzalez is on weak legs, but what a quick recovery from the Mexican fighter who lands a nice left hook, but he got clipped, Joel.
You know, Duno throws that right hand. If you watch most of his fights, he throws that right hand constantly, and he lands it. He's very good with it, and he made damage with that right hand. Once he landed it, he hurt Gonzalez.
Nice left there from Gonzalez to the chin of Romero Duno, but he keeps coming right back at him, does the Filipino fighter. You know,
we see a knot on Gonzalez's right eye already, and it's bothering him because he's already, blinking his eye. Hopefully they can bring the swelling down in between rounds.
So Gonzalez told us, I'm going to keep him on the outside, but he doesn't do it there, and he gets dropped with a 1-2 combination, but it's a trip, is what the referee, Edward Hernandez Sr. says. There were some punches there, Joel.
Yeah, there were some punches, but they didn't they were not landed effectively. That's what he was moving back, and I think he sort of crossed his feet.
And what always happens with the southpaw and the orthodox fighter, whoever gets the advantage of working the outside foot, they usually get the better of it, and that's exactly what happened in that exchange. Nice combination to the body now from Romero Duno. Maybe he gets a little bit confident here that he has the power to drop Gonzalez.
Yeah, he does have the power to drop Gonzalez, but also Gonzalez has the power to drop Duno, especially if he keeps landing those body shots.
Headbutt there from Romero Duno, accidental, but Duno keeps lunging forward, and you mentioned, Joel, how Gonzalez needs to throw those uppercuts and maybe catch him coming in, and that could change the fight.
There we see that swelling. Hopefully they can work on that swelling in the corner.
A lot of swelling on the right eye of Gilberto Gonzalez, caught by the observant eye of Joel Diaz, my color analyst for the night.
Okay, I got it. Left eye headbutt. You guys, watch the heads, okay? How's it look? How's it look? Okay, I told her. Headbutt, headbutt. Okay, watch the heads, both of you guys.
Jab, straight jab.
Come, both watch the heads, okay?
Ang imong uppercut outside kayo. Bili lang mo boom, boom. Ha? Boom, boom. Then overhand. Then luwag lang. Ha?
It doesn't look too bad. He's starting to get swelled up on the face, though.
Ha? Pero hawa dayon. Nagi ka pisik. Hawa dayon, ha?
Seconds down, let's go. Back up, back up, back up.
Oh, ay pagdali, ha?
Back up.
And here we see the problem with the southpaw and the right-hander. Right there, he throws 2 punches and he steps on his foot. That's what he was off balance and landed on his back.
We always talk about establishing the outside foot. That's exactly what Romero Duno was able to do there. He pushed him with the 2 punches, and then the foot was there, ending up dropping him to the canvas. But Edward Hernandez Sr. was very observant in not calling that an official knockdown. There we see Romero Duno just attack, lunge in, and catch Gonzalez with a nice combination. Gonzalez now working from the center of the ring, but he just posed there, didn't throw anything, Joel.
Because Duno doesn't give him a target. As soon as Duno finishes his combinations, he's away. And Gonzalez is expecting for Duno to throw and stay in the same spot. It's impossible. Duno's giving some great angles. He's throwing and moving, especially he's moving to Gonzalez's right a little more.
Duno's landing that overhand right with success here in the 3rd round, but as the eye begins to close, that left hand, Joel, is going to be a lot more effective for Gonzalez, who lands a solid right.
Yeah, it's a fight among these 2 fighters, when they switch southpaws, and then you got 2 fights. You got to fight the feet and you got to fight the hands. It's complicated. Now you have to make more adjustments that can benefit you in there.
All right, our 3rd man on this broadcast crew, Beto Duran, was listening in to the corner of Gonzalez. What's the biggest concern there, Beto?
Muévete, muévete, move, move. They do not want Flaco to trade with Duno. They told him he needs to keep his distance, just like he's doing right now. They said if he wants to trade with them, we're doing the wrong fight.
Now, Beto, are they concerned at all about the right eye swelling?
No, they go, no importa. They said they're going to take care of it, but they know that Flaco has always got battled and scarred on his face.
Here, the big news, his nose hasn't started bleeding. Everyone believed that in his last few fights, he suffered a broken nose against Mercito Gesta. And before that, in a fight previous, when he knocked out Luis Vampiro Arceo with a devastating left hook, the blood was gushing from his nose. He says, hey, sometimes I just run and I just have really bad capillaries inside my nose. So far, it's holding up, but it's that right eye that his corner's got to be concerned about. They don't seem concerned, but would you be concerned if you were in that corner, Joel?
No, I wouldn't be concerned, because if you can manage to bring the swelling down, then there's no problem. The problem is this: when he starts bleeding, because he had blood, and we showed blood on his nose in the previous round. When he starts blowing his nose, he starts bringing air into the eye, and it starts getting more swollen.
The sinus starts to fill up, and then you see that swelling get worse. And that's one of the hardest things, to convince your fighter not to blow their nose, because they can't breathe because of the blood. Yet at the same time, the worst thing you can do is blow your nose, because then it really brings that air in, and it's just a bad situation becoming worse. And you see Romero Duno trying to close the distance against the longer and taller Gilberto Flaco Gonzalez after a good third round.
Que seas así como lo hiciste de inteligente. Ahora cámbiate del otro lado. Cámbiate del otro lado. Quiero que lo cambies del otro lado. Dame agua.
¿Está bien?
Quiero que me pongas bien pinche trucha, por favor. Quiero que te pongas bien verga. Quiero que te cambies del otro lado, ¿ok? Quiero que te cambies del otro lado.
Back up, back up. Mouthpiece, back up, back up, back up.
All right, here's the start of the round, waiting on the initial bell here from our timekeeper. Wonderful job. Unlike other places where they have shorter rounds, here in California, you get your full 3 rounds. And the corner of Gilberto Gonzalez asked him to move to his orthodox stance. He caught Romero Duno with a good shot, but it just seems to wake up Duno. Now he's in a toe-to-toe battle, which is what he wanted.
Exactly. Earlier we spoke about this. I mean, these two guys are made for each other. They're tailored for each other because styles make fights, and they're made for each other, as you can see. Now they're exchanging in the center of the ring. A strategy that Gonzalez said it wasn't gonna use. He was gonna keep him outside, use the distance, move around, and try to maintain him on the outside. And now he threw that out the window, and now he's fighting inside.
And what did Ernesto Tio Garcia tell us? His experience with Juan Manuel Marquez at the Romanza Gym alongside Nacho Beristain, he told us after 3 rounds, Gilberto Gonzalez throws everything out the window, and that's exactly what happened. He knew what his guy was going to do, and that's what's happening here. Beto Duran, what's going on in the corners? Duno's corner now.
Yeah, they like this fight. This is exactly what they wanted. This is exactly what they expected. They said they see the hole right there, how Flaco has that right hand down. They're telling Duno to put together combinations, and he's leaving himself open for that left hook.
All right, so very observant there in the corner. Rodel Mayol, the former world titleist from the Philippines, now working the corner of Romero Duno, who said, hey, I'm not a big celebrity yet in the Philippines. You know, Manny obviously is the gold standard. There's Jerwin Ancajas now, who will be on our Top Rank Boxing show in the near future. Denny Nieto is the flyweight champion. And then maybe there's Romero Duno. He says, I've got some work to do. I've got some catching up. But if he keeps winning, people in the Philippines will continue to take notice.
That's a good thing that the corner is always aware of what's happening. He caught that using the right hand on the opening of Gonzalez. It helps, and you know, he caught him with the right hand right to the center, and he slowed Gonzalez down a little bit. Now he's moving. He felt that shot to the body.
And that was able to open up an overhand right for Romero Duno, as you see Gonzalez lunging in, dropping himself, lowering himself, and making himself shorter, and that only helps Romero Duno cut the distance as both guys clash heads. Referee Edward Hernandez Sr. sees it. Unfortunately, nothing comes of it.
See, those straight punches on Gonzalez help him a lot. I mean, it benefits him because he has longer reach. If he can use that longer reach when Duno's on the outside, it's really good for him. But once he lets Duno work inside, Duno takes the best out of him.
Nice combination there from Romero Duno. First the left, then the overhand right. And look at how Gonzalez leans in. The uppercut is ripe for Romero Duno here in this fight. As they start to exchange, we said, hey, if you're a fight fan, you're going to like this fight.
Cut his other eye? His other eye cut? Let me see that eye real fast. Let's go. Hey, Ro, he has a little cut on the right eye. A little tiny one.
Welcome back. Now, Gilberto Gonzalez has a history of nosebleeds throughout his career, but Joel, we saw an exchange earlier in this round where he was able to take it. What does that do for a trainer and a fighter when you can withstand that type of punishment and come back and your blood's not gushing?
Well, it gives you more time to work, because you have a fighter comes to the corner and he's bleeding, you got to work, and it takes a lot of time out of you. And that's good news when you can see that he got hit with a beautiful straight right down the middle and he's not bleeding. I mean, obviously, it motivates you to keep working.
And he says he's tried to use it in his advantage when his opponents think that they broke his nose. Then they try to go for broke or think that he can't breathe, but he's okay because his capillaries, he's used to it. So, you know, it's not that bad yet, but he's as tough as they come, no doubt.
Yeah, he's bleeding slowly, but he's not bleeding like he used to bleed before. Gilberto Gonzalez is a fighter that, I'm telling you, I trained him for the Marcito Hestas fight, and we will go running in the morning, and he will be bleeding before he will start running.
Well, the desert air doesn't help either, but nonetheless, here we have the action in the 5th round between Romero Duno, the undefeated, or actually the 16-1 Filipino fighter out of Gensan. Yes, General Santos, Philippines, the land of Manny Pacquiao. His parents gave him money to go to college, and he said, at 17, I took that money and went to become a fighter in General Santos, Philippines to fulfill my dream. And he's already surpassed anything he dreamed of as a kid. He's on Golden Boy Boxing on ESPN, and he's looking to become the next great Filipino hero.
5th round, and it's only getting better. One thing about Gonzalez is that he gets stronger in the later rounds. If you see, most of his knockouts are in the later rounds.
He's got 22 knockouts, 13 in the first 2 rounds of fights, but he carries his power late. To your point, he's got knockouts in the 8th, 10th, and 11th rounds of his fights. So that's rare to see a fighter carry his power late. Well, that's something that Duno will have to be wary of, as even Flaco Gonzalez has always said, I'm a slow starter, but once I get going, you got to be careful.
Yeah, every fighter is different, and depends on what their beliefs is. I mean, that's what they carry. And Gilberto Gonzalez is a fighter that carries that in his mind all the time. He says, I always like to go to the later rounds because most of my knockouts are in the later rounds when I feel stronger. And don't blink on Gonzalez in this fight, especially in the 8th, 9th, and 10th, because he can surprise you. He's still in the fight. He's still throwing power punches, and he's moving really well.
Hear the chants of Flaco, Flaco coming from the stands here in Indio, California. Nice left hook there from Gonzalez, but then he gets countered, so he does something good, and then he does something bad, and Duno capitalizes.
It's because he's got a great fighter in front of him, a fighter that can take a punch and can counter right away.
Big overhand right there from Romero Duno as we're reaching the midway point of this 10-round fight.
Hey man, how you doing? ¿Cómo estás? You okay?
Por favor, cuando se viene con los cuatro golpes, lo practican de paso lateral y
He's doing okay. It's just, you know, his face getting a little swollen, but he seems to be. I know.
Let's go.
Wait there.
Ready for round 6 here of our Golden Boy Boxing on ESPN main event. You saw Gilberto Gonzalez blow his nose right before he came out for the 6th round? Usually when you've got swelling, that's a bad thing, Joel.
Exactly. It's a bad habit for him. He's always done it. And even though he don't have blood, he thinks he has blood because it's already in his mind. He always thinks that he's bleeding out of nothing. That's why he blows his nose. But it's a bad thing.
All right, well, what's not a bad thing is when you get two fighters exchanging toe-to-toe, and here's Gilberto Gonzalez closing the distance against Romero Duno. The corner is happy with what's going on with Gonzalez. The crowd is on their feet here at Fantasy Springs Resort and Casino. This is becoming the toe-to-toe war that both fighters told us we would see.
I told you, Gilberto Gonzalez is getting stronger round by round, and he's in there exchanging with a younger fighter and hitting the body. They're both going for the body, coming up with uppercuts, and see who has more resistance and whose conditioning is better is going to be shown right now.
Ray Boom Boom Mancini was the VIP guest for Golden Boy Boxing this evening here at Fantasy Springs. This is a fight worthy of a Ray Boom Boom Mancini fight. He used to fight 15 rounds back in the day. He was one of the reasons that fights were changed to 12 rounds. Look at this exchange. Gonzalez has his head on the head of Duno, and here comes the counter punch of Romero Duno. Look at the power punches this round. Duno landed 28. Both fighters have thrown a combined 106 so far. So we told you, style makes fights. Well, this is the type of fight that we love to see.
Exactly, and Gilberto Gonzalez figured out a comfort zone where he can work and he can stay moving. He's moving his head now a little more than usual. He's avoiding a lot of shots, and he's exchanging with really nice effective
jab there from Gonzalez that catches Duno lunging. And we talked about him using his leverage against Romero Duno, and he's hurt. He clipped Romero Duno as Duno's against the ropes, but Duno has no quit in him. He's coming back with shots of his own, but here comes Gonzalez teeing off on Romero Duno, who's walking backwards, and here's Duno landing on the chin of Gonzalez. What a fight.
We see Duno land a good body shot on Gonzalez and slowed him down right there, caught him on the way in. That body shot really did some damage on Gonzalez. That's why he's trying to get his wind back. It slowed him down completely.
He dropped his hands completely, and here comes Duno working to the body of Gonzalez. My, how the tides have turned here in the 6th round. An explosive action that we've seen here at Fantasy Springs as both fighters tee off on one another.
Stop at the bell, guys. Stop at the bell.
We got to stay here and listen to what the corner has to say. The Hennessy corner cam with Gilberto Flaco Gonzalez. Sit down. Here you go, son. Well done. Give me the water. Close your eyes. Give me my towel, says Theo Garcia.
How's it going? Is it okay? Are you okay? Good. You're fine.
Son, take a deep breath. Are you tired? No, but he caught me. That's what I want. I want you to keep doing that. I like you to fight pretty. Let me talk to him. I want you to wake up. Come on, stay alive, stay alive. Go get him. I mean, it was more motivational than tactical, Joel, in terms of the instructions that he got.
There was not much guidance, like you said, much tactic. But at least, you know, they're keeping him awake and they're motivating him because Gonzalez has a lot of heart. He has a lot of anger. He has a lot of heart, and he will never quit. He'll keep going. There he is, still blowing his nose, and you can see that swelling in the eye is not going down. It's still there. We see the right hand to the body again. It's very effective for Duno.
Stop.
All right, Beto, what are they saying in Romero Duno's corner?
Get off the ropes. Their fighter is extremely tired. He came back between rounds, stayed standing up. He was hunched over, gasping for air. Then he finally sat down for the last 20 seconds. There wasn't much instruction. They just told him to breathe.
Yeah, that's kind of important. not only for a fighter, but as a human being, you're going to need to continue breathing. But here in the 7th round, I think Romero Duno is looking the fresher of the two fighters, Joel.
Yeah, of course. He sees a little bit in Gonzalez, especially. He slows him down when he works the body, but they're both looking for the head.
Look at the power punches thrown in the last round, Joel. 123 with 57 landed at a 46% clip for Romero Duno. It was a great round for Gonzalez early on, but the tide turned in favor of Romero Duno once he started to work the body.
Yeah, it was just that one shot. When he saw that opening, he threw that right to the body and slowed Gonzalez and gave him the opportunity to elevate the volume of power punches on him.
Now everybody says, and we start with Vasily Lomachenko against Jorge Linares, the left hook to the liver. But what does a right shot to the body when it clips you in the ribs do?
Well, that was right in the center. It was right in the center. I mean, it just sort of like executes your breathing for a little bit. The liver is a completely different shot. I mean, it just shocks your whole body. It's a painful feeling that nobody can withstand. It's hard. The only person I saw in boxing that can get hit on the liver and get back up was Arturo Gatti.
Yeah, well, you're talking about a true warrior in every sense of the word, as now you see Romero Duno land a big overhand right to the chin of Gonzalez. And there it is. Nice 1-2 combination right up the middle for Romero Duno.
Romero Duno uses his right hand more. I've seen him use his right hand more, sometimes 2-3 times in a row. He's using it in the later rounds, he's using it more, but earlier in the fight, he's holding it back. He's very conservative with it.
There you see Gonzalez land a left hook to the chin of Romero Duno, but Duno continues to look fresh. Nice jab there from the southpaw Gonzalez as this round comes to an end in an exciting fight.
Looking at me, not you. What are you doing? Okay?
Sácame la derecha, pero más con más golpe, más rápido, más preciso. Igual la energía que
Maura to. Ha? Maura to, upper lang ka doon. Boom, boom. Dua ka upper. I-upper niyo. Upper.
Right, show me something, okay?
Upper sa now. Upper sa tiyan. Pero luwag na, upper ayun ang upper.
I'm not gonna let him get beat up
Upper
there
dayon.
because that's
Masulod siya
what
gamay,
he's talking
paminaw. Buwan na yung ulo. Atras si gamay. Boom. Ibirhan. Ha?
Our next Golden Boy Boxing on ESPN show will kick off the International Boxing Hall of Fame weekend in Verona, New York. Oscar De La Hoya's cousin, Diego De La Hoya, will take on Jose Salgado in our main event. You're training Diego De La Hoya. How's he looking for this fight?
He's looking really good after his long layoff. He took some good time off, rested. He's back in camp. He's motivated, working, and he's happy and excited to be back in the ring.
How's the weight?
Well, the weight is good. I mean, just because he missed the weight one time, I mean, that doesn't mean he's going to miss weight every time. Now, you know, he learned his lesson. Obviously, there was some little technical things that didn't go right, but honestly, I don't blame Diego. Certain things happen, and now he's coming back, and you're going to see a new Diego this year, hopefully looking for a world title soon.
All right. They expect the same in Romero Duno's corner, a world title challenge in the near future. Beto, what were they expecting from their fighter for this 8th round?
They told Duno, go to the body, give yourself room. They said last round he was smothering himself when he was trying to throw big shots, mixing some uppercuts. Also, Duno took a long time to sit down again, Bernie. He's gasping for air between rounds.
Then why not sit down quickly is what I would ask. But nonetheless, each fighter manages their 1 minute rest in different ways. And Joel, maybe it's better and easier to get full oxygen to your body if you're standing up as opposed to sitting down.
Sometimes the trunks and your protector puts pressure on your stomach, and it's harder to breathe. Sometimes it's easier, and fighters always ask, I'm okay when I'm standing because they breathe better. You know, sometimes by sitting down, the protector will squeeze your stomach and you won't get much a complete full breath.
And coach, exactly that. They were adjusting the cut protector for Duno the entire round, and they were trying to find a way to bring it down lower. They weren't successful between rounds though, but in the last 3 rounds, Duno keeps moving to his belt line, telling them to adjust that.
Yeah, right, so there you go. You just called it out of experience, Joel.
Yeah, you can tell from the beginning. I saw Duno's cup was a little high. It's above the belly button, and that's a problem when they sit down. And then when they sit down, they rest their body completely, so it doesn't give them proper way to breathe.
Nice left hand there from Gonzalez, who's starting to use his length here in the 8th round. Then he leaves it out there a little bit long, and Duno tries to take advantage. Both fighters breathing from the mouth, but we've talked about the fact that Flaco Gilberto Gonzalez is a fighter that usually comes on late in fights, and that's what he's trying to do here as he lands a nice left.
No, as you can see, he's in control now. He's in control, and he's good. He's landing some great shots. But once Duno lands that shot to the body, he will slow him down. And they know that. They know that in the corner. That's why they've been consistently telling Duno, hit the body, work the body, because they caught it. Once you touch the body, Gilberto will slow down a little bit.
And that's why you see the elbows of Gilberto Gonzalez down, protecting the body. That leaves the head open, and that's what the Duno corner has been asking him to do. Rodel Mayol, work the head. Let's set it up with the body as round 8 comes to an end.
¿Ves cómo sí lo puedes hacer? ¿Qué es lo que ocupo? Tu inteligencia. Ya vamos por el 9. Cierra, cierra, cierra. Necesito que me pongas bien verga. Ya es el último round. Es el 9 este. Este es el 9. Ya que necesito. Bien verga. Nada más. Ya es el 9, mijo. Es el 9 ya. Ya tienes todo. Pachangas, pachangas, ¿ok? Pachangas. Quiero muchas pachangas. Quiero que pachanguero, por favor. Ahorita, nada más, agüita, dame agua. Rápido, rápido. Dame el protector. Dame el protector.
Check this out, my piece. Stay there.
Bernardo Osuna, Joel Diaz, and Beto Duran bringing you Golden Boy Boxing's broadcast on ESPN this evening from Fantasy Springs Resort and Casino. And this is a fight fans fight. 2 warriors in the ring, Mexico and Puerto Rico, as this rivalry continues to expand. We've got Gilberto Flaco Gonzalez taking on Romero Duno. Beto Duran, what were the instructions in Duno's corner, or what did you observe?
They're telling him to throw the uppercut. Flaco is leaning in. They said that he's exposed for the uppercut and then follow it with a hook. Also, Bernie, behind the Filipino's corner, there's a big contingent of Filipino fans with the flag urging him on. Duno is acknowledging them. Also, it's 10 a.m. in the Philippines right now, and there's a lot of people watching if you check your Twitter.
I know that you're a hero in the Philippines, so you've got all the followers in the Philippines, so we say salat to all of them for watching us on Golden Boy Boxing on ESPN. All right, Gonzalez keeps his elbows tucked to the body. He knows where he's weak. How does Duno open him up?
Well, Duno needs to work the top first. He needs to apply a combination or 2 or set up with a jab. Start on the top, bring his defense up, and then go to the body. Neither fighter are using any feints. They're just going all out because they know that they're in the later rounds and it's about the end. So they need to go all out. I see a little bit of desperation in Flaco's corner. They're asking him, you gotta go, which they're telling him, hey, you're behind, so you gotta go get him.
They want that left hook from Gilberto Flaco Gonzalez. Marco Barrero would call him the skinny guy in the ring. Now he would stand southpaw against Marco Antonio Barrera and Juan Manuel Marquez in sparring preparation for Manny Pacquiao. Very different, but hey, you get what you take what you can get when it comes to southpaw sparring. And there, Gonzalez has a nice left hook to the body of Romero Duno. We're going to take a look at the total punches in this fight, and over 1,000 already thrown, almost 200 landed by Duno, 113 landed by Gonzalez. So the accuracy is not all there, but in terms of punch output, they're letting their hands go tonight. That was through 9 rounds, too. Through 8 rounds. We're in the 9th round now. Joel Diaz and Bernardo Osuna. Becoming more of a chess match for Duno, who's maybe he's losing a little bit of his conditioning here as Gonzalez makes him pay when he comes in.
Not exactly. Sometimes a lot of fighters come in with that mentality that they're gonna walk through their opponent, and when they run into a tough opponent like Gilberto Gonzalez, it's different. You have to change it up a little bit.
Nice left there by Gonzalez as he pins Romero Duno in the red corner. Now we're gonna listen in on the corner of Gilberto Gonzalez next to the Hennessy corner cam. Never stop, never saddle. You're doing well. Sit down.
Cierra la cara.
Close your eyes. What do I need? I need you to throw the jab. This is the last round. This is the last final stretch. All or nothing. Don't lunge. Don't lunge. You have everything to win. All right, you've already heard him. He's withering. Give him water. I want you to go out there and be brave. Be smart. This is it. This is the final stretch. Still motivational, but nothing too tactical or technical, Joel.
It's good to motivate your fighter, but at the same time, you got to tell him what you need to do. I mean, you need to tell him what to do because it's the last round. So he's behind. He needs to catch up and do some damage in order for him to win this fight.
All right, Beto Duran was in Romero Duno's corner. What's the report from that corner?
Finish him. That was the report. His trainer even made Duno give him his glove and show him where he wants to punch him right on the chin. He said, finish.
Well, there it is. That nice short left hand from Romero Duno, but Gonzalez is still standing. I mean, this is a fighter who gives his all in the ring, and this is the type of challenge that Romero Duno expected. He said, I don't expect him to go down like Chimpa. I've watched him fight. I know he loves to come toe-to-toe. He was under the impression that that fight favored him, but Romero Duno's finding out that Gonzalez is a true Mexican warrior.
Oh, Romero Duno knows. He tried everything from the beginning. He landed the best shots. He landed his right, his overhand right. He landed a right uppercut, left hooks, and he knows that Gonzalez is not an easy opponent. He knows that he's there to stay to the end. See, Gonzalez needs to apply the jab a little more, especially at that distance. He needs to set up the jab, jab, wait for Duno to step in and catch him with a straight left if he wants to do a little more damage on Duno.
Gonzalez trying to land from the outside.
Now they're feeling a little comfortable. Now they're shuffling with their feet because they know it's the last round. They know that this round's going to finish by decision. They both tried to hurt each other, but any punch can change from a second to the next.
The corner of Gonzalez wants him to throw. They want him to leave it all out on the line here. They feel he still has a chance to win this fight. Although I see it as a very long shot because Duno has been doing the best in terms of boxing this evening. But man, Gonzalez has made a fight of it here on Golden Boy Boxing on ESPN.
It sure was a great fight from beginning to now. 10th round, and they're still going strong. He hurt him with that uppercut.
That uppercut lands on Gilberto Gonzalez, and he has to hold on for dear life here with a little bit over 30 seconds left in the fight. Roland Mayor gave him the shot that he wanted to finish the fight with for Romero Duno, but it seems that Romero Duno is also spent here with 20 seconds left in the 10th round. Big left hand from Gilberto. That was the final stand. And you see these two warriors in the ring hugging and talking about what a great war they gave you, the fight fans, here as our main event, Golden Boy Boxing on ESPN. Now, it's in the hands of the judges. Who did they see win? We'll find out when we come back here for the conclusion of Golden Boy Boxing on ESPN. Golden Boy Boxing on ESPN was presented by Tecate, the official beer of boxing, and brought to you by Hennessy. Never stop, never settle. What an exciting night of action we'd had here at the Fantasy Springs Resort and Casino, our home in Southern California for Golden Boy Boxing on ESPN. Let's relive what we saw this evening in this great Mexico versus Philippines war. And it was Romero Duno who didn't get the official knockdown because there was a trip, but what a give and take fight we saw tonight.
It was a great, exciting fight from both fighters. You know, they fought their hearts out in there, and they gave the people what they wanted to see, a great fight on Thursday night. What can you expect?
Well, we got what we expected. We knew it was going to be a war, and in the end, that's what boxing's about. You try to take each other out for 30 minutes, 10 rounds, but at the end, it's all about the gentleman's sport. And you see these two men who will probably go have a drink after this fight. Well, let's take a look at the Tecate punch stats for the evening tonight. I know there was a ton of punches thrown. Yes, almost 1,200 punches thrown. Close to 400 punches landed between these two. Very few jabs, less than 12% landed by both. But it was the power punches that saved the day as Romero Duno was able to land 400, well, throw 443, land almost 200 of those. That may be the difference this evening when the judges have their final say. Mark Frido with the official judge's decision in the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at Fantasy Springs Resort Casino, let's show our appreciation to these two power punchers going toe-to-toe across all 10. We now go to the judges' scorecards. Zachary Young and Fernando Villarreal saw the action 97-93. Carla Caiz scored it 98-92. All three judges in favor of your winner by unanimous decision. From General Santos City in the Philippines, Romero Ruthless Duno.
So Gilberto Gonzalez loses to a Filipino fighter for the second consecutive fight, and Romero Duno earned this decision. I also had it 97-93 in this fight. Two of the judges saw it that way. I thought that it was a solid performance from Romero Duno. No easy breaks given to him. What was your assessment of what Romero Duno was able to do inside the ring tonight?
He was a more consistent fighter. He did the best by applying that pressure at times and landing the better shots on Gilberto. Because, I mean, his last loss to Marcito Hezas was different because Marcito is more of a boxer. Duno came to fight, and he did the best and took the best out of Gilberto tonight.
All right, so Romero Duno's ruthless for a reason. He's a former Asian super featherweight champion, now a prospect at 135 pounds. When we come back, former